Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another tax essence session. Okay, this will be our second class for DT, and these recordings and classes are for June 23 attempt. Okay, so we'll begin with it. Before starting, okay, let's have a quick revision of the little bit thing that we discussed in the last session. Okay, so in last session, we discussed about what actually is a direct tax and what indirect tax is all about. Okay, we discussed how does these acts are formed. Okay, nothing is formed. Okay, like nothing is like it is brought onto the table like an act. Okay, at first it is introduced as a bill, then it is passed by both the houses of the parliament, and then it moves on to the president for its assent, and on the appointed date, the said act is rolled out. Okay, then we discussed something regarding that why actually these taxes are needed. Okay, so we saw the situations where all the infrastructures and all everything that is provided by the government. Okay, this is all maintained by the government with the help of the revenue. Revenue means nothing but the taxes that we are paying to the government. Okay. Then we saw some basic differentiation between direct tax and indirect tax, where we came to know that, okay, direct tax is progressive in nature, indirect tax is regressive in nature. Okay, direct tax controlling authority is CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxation. Okay, and indirect tax is CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Custom. Correct. We came to know about the incidence and impact. Okay, on direct tax, the incidence and impact directly fall on the person, but as compared to the indirect tax, it is always on two or more persons. Okay, and the burden is always moved on, and the final burden is borne by the final consumer. Okay, income tax is particularly what which is levied on the income. Okay, but GST is what is levied on goods and services. Okay, then we talked about some constitutional validity. Okay, there the most important thing is that we read about Article 265, which says that none of the taxes can be levied in the country except by the authority of law. Okay, if the law allows such taxes to be levied and collected, then only it can be. Sir, then this direct tax, indirect tax, are those authorized by the law? Yes, they are. Okay, we read about Article 246, and in that Schedule 7, there are three lists. One is union, state, and concurrent list. Okay, in union list, entry 82 talks about the income tax, but it has kept means in union list, that means the CG's power, they have kept the income tax, but they have taken the agriculture income, means the agriculture tax from them, and they have bestowed the same to the state in the list to entry 46. Okay. Then we talked about the administrative hierarchy. Okay, where we talked about that there are different ministries like Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Home Ministry is also there. Okay, now our main concern is Ministry of Finance. In Ministry of Finance as well, we have a Department of Revenue. Okay, and in Department of Revenue, we have two governing bodies. One is CBDT and one is CBIC. When we will read about, when we are reading about direct tax or income tax particularly, we always do talk about CBDT, but when we move on to the indirect tax, that is the GST part, we speak about the controlling authority, that is CBIC. Here also I said that in both the boards or in both the subjects, okay, what is the most appropriate words that we will come to know is AO, assessing officer, the one who will be to whom will be directly reporting to. Okay, in case of default, in case of failure, in case of any kind of contraventions, penalties and all. Okay, will be directly responsible, or as an assessing officer will be assigned to us, will be reporting to whom, and he will be further reporting it to his upper heads. Correct. After that, we move on to a very important aspect where we discuss that which assessment year we are following into, which is the assessment year which will be followed for us. Anyone?
2000.
Yes, yes.
सर एक बार फिर से बोलिए तो
कौन सा असेसमेंट ईयर हम फॉलो करेंगे? हमारे लिए कौन सा असेसमेंट ईयर है, कौन सा प्रीवियस ईयर है?
previous year was 21 to 22 and we are following 22-23
ना, for June.
Sorry.
For June
or 23-24
23 and 24 is our assessment year, and similarly the previous year is 22 and 23.
Yeah.
Okay, we also discussed about what actually is a previous year. Okay, the previous year basically is the year in which we earned the income, and assessment year is the year immediately preceding following the previous year in which the income that we have earned, the tax will be assessed on the same. Correct. We took the example of Sanjana. So she has been earning in the year 2022 and 23. So from this March, whenever it will start, okay, sorry, from April, whenever it will start. So 1st April 2023, she will be falling into her assessment year where now it's time to pay tax, whatever she had earned in the previous April to March. Correct. We discussed all those things. And we also discussed that for us, which Finance Act is applicable? Finance Act 2022 is applicable for us. Okay. Now we'll move on to further discussions. Okay. Now, today also I feel like that our discussion will be theoretical only. Okay. But yes, from the next session, we'll move on to some practicality. Now, whenever we talk about Income Tax Act, whenever we talk about income tax law as a whole, okay, then there are 4 to 5 different important aspects, okay, which is always taken care of before saying anything about the income tax. What I mean to say, see, we know that we have an act, okay, we follow the act, correct. But don't you think that it's always not possible to say everything at one place? Correct. Because as per the changes will come, as per the situations will change, or as per the conditions will change, marketing strategies will change. Okay. They also need to get updated little bit, correct? Because previously there used to be situations where there used to be only 4 or 5 sources of income, but nowadays there are n number of sources. We can't even imagine the channel of sources are so much in India right now. Okay. For an individual, for anyone. Okay. So whenever we talk about income tax law, okay, I'm not talking about Income Tax Act. Okay, Act, we know Act is what? Act is that governing principle, correct? From where actually this income tax is coming, from where people are feeling that yes, we need to pay income tax, it is from the Income Tax Act. Okay, but the act itself is not enough. Sometimes, okay, not every time. Okay, sometimes act alone is not enough to clear all the doubts, okay, to make the law very clear to us. So for that, when I talk about income tax law as a whole, जब मैं income tax law पूरे law की बात करता हूँ ना, उसमें 5 बहुत important चीजें आती है. एक तो एक्ट खुद, दूसरा आता है कुछ रूल्स जो कि प्रेस्क्राइब किए जाते हैं, तीसरे की बात होती है सर्कुलर्स एंड क्लैरिफिकेशंस, एंड fourth one will be notifications, and fifth is the judicial decision. Okay, these all 5 are a component, okay, which together forms a base for income tax law. Correct. Now see, if I talk about the first component, that is Income Tax Act, okay, I don't think we need to talk much about this act, because this is the act which says that yes, there is a tax like income tax which has to be levied. Okay, all the sections, everything that we are discussing right now, assessment year, previous year, and whatever our further discussions will be, the base of that discussion is our act. Okay, but what actually happens now? Have you ever been in that situation or not? I don't know, but it has been with me that whenever I try to write something, it always happens that I tend to forget something. And after it is done, I feel like, I should have written this. Okay, this happens. And similarly, Income Tax Act is not a 2-3 sentence, 2-3 pages, correct? It is a vast act. So definitely everything cannot be prescribed over there. Everything cannot be clarified over there. Okay, so whenever we'll be reading the law whenever we'll read the word as prescribed, okay, there will be many times where I'll be pointing you out, okay, that see here it is written as prescribed. That means that it's saying that, okay, this is the act is what saying, but wherever the word will be as prescribed, that means they're asking us to refer the rules regarding that it might be possible that a better clarification or a better view of the law has been provided in the law itself, rule itself. Okay, so that is the income tax rules 1962. Okay, and timely amendments are there. Okay, in fact, this year only for you have some amendment which will be covering the rules. So we'll go through the rules at that position in deep way. Okay, in PGBP we'll go through that. So what is the base of the income tax law is the Income Tax Act itself. After that, wherever as prescribed will be written, that means they're asking us to refer to the rules. Maybe they have clarified it in a more better way. Correct. The third one comes the circulars and the clarifications. Now see, what is written beside is written that issued by CBDT and CBIC. Correct. Because whenever I talk about tax, it's always CBDT, but CBIC for indirect tax. Now, what actually is this circulars and clarifications all about? Circulars and clarifications are a kind of, see, clarifications we know now what actually it is. Suppose for an example, whatever we are doing in the class, there is some doubt. Okay, you have some doubt. So what you will do? You will come to me and you will clarify your doubt. That means the same thing is being done by the department. Whenever something is being said by the act or in the rules, and people tends to misjudge that. Correct, because definitely it's a you guys might be knowing that 2 days back only India has been assigned as the most populated country, 1.43 billion people, and per square kilometer it is 529 people per square kilometer all over India. Okay, largest populated country. It has defeated China as well. So see, definitely this all people cannot understand in the same way. Correct. So there will be some doubts. Okay, and as we'll keep on studying, as we'll keep on going through, then I'll give you some views for that as well. That people used to think this, people used to think that. So wherever people used to think it in a wrong way, so what department used to do? Department used to bring out some circulars and clarifications that yes, you people, you are okay, okay, Mrityunjay, I'll keep a note of it. Okay, मैं ध्यान रखूंगा इस बात का. Okay, that's good, that's good. अगर मैं ज्यादा इंग्लिश में जाऊँ ना तो आप मुझे डायरेक्ट पिंग करके बताना, ठीक है? मैं हिंदी में आ जाऊंगा. मैं अभी कंटिन्यू करता हूँ हिंदी में इसके बाद, ठीक है? I'll keep a note of it. So what actually used to happen is that when people used to get confused, so department used to see this, that yes, they are misjudging something. Correct. So what they used to do, what they used to do, what they do is that they bring out some circulars and clarifications that yes, people, you are misjudging whatever you have said. We meant to say this, not that. Okay. So circulars and clarifications, correct. After that comes the notifications, which forms a very basic part for your syllabus as well. Okay, basic part as well, that amendment. Notifications is nothing, just it is amendment, timely amendment, right? In last session only we were discussing about Finance Act. We are talking about budget. What are those? Those are small changes which are brought every year, and those do come by in the hands of Finance Act 2021, and whatever is left, whatever is needed at an immediate basis. So in that case, notifications, that means simply amendments are brought in by the department. Notification is nothing, but it is amendments. And judicial decision is the decisions that has been made by the court itself. Okay, Supreme Court, High Court, other courts. So we know that Supreme Court is the mother of all justice bodies. So once it is passed by the Supreme Court, it becomes a law for the country. And in fact, in certain cases, especially in the capital gain part, I can remember right now, there will be a section, okay, where we'll be discussing that law says that, but court has given that decision, so that decision will prevail over the law. Okay, clear to everybody? Okay, now let's recap it in Hindi as well. So जब हम इनकम टैक्स लॉ पूरे की बात करते हैं ना, तो इनकम टैक्स लॉ सिर्फ एक्ट से नहीं बना, ठीक है? क्योंकि देखिए ये चीजें बहुत कॉमन है कि हम कुछ बताने की कोशिश करते हैं ना, तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है कि सारी चीजें एक साथ आ जाए. करेक्ट, क्योंकि ये एक्ट एक दो पेजों का नहीं है. करेक्ट, ये पूरा एक्ट है. तो क्या होता है ना कि कहीं कहीं हमें ना एक्ट में लिखा हुआ मिलता है एज प्रेस्क्राइब्ड. जहां ये वर्ड लिखा हुआ ना एज प्रेस्क्राइब्ड, ठीक है, वहां आप समझिए कि ये बोल रहा है कि आप एक बार रूल्स देख के आओ. हमने रूल्स में और अच्छे से क्लैरिफाई किया है कि क्या होना चाहिए. ठीक है, तो इनकम टैक्स एक्ट हो गया, जो कि एक बहुत बेस लेवल पे ना एक बेसिक्स बनता है. ठीक है, फिर रूल्स आते हैं, ठीक है, जो कि एक्ट को और अच्छे से हमें जानने में मदद करते हैं. फिर तीसरे नंबर पे आता है सर्कुलर्स एंड क्लैरिफिकेशंस। सर्कुलर्स एंड क्लैरिफिकेशंस क्या है ना, अब फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे मैं आपको पढ़ा रहा हूँ, आपको अगर कुछ समझ में ना आए तो आप क्या करेंगे, आप मेरे पास डाउट लेके आएंगे ना, आप डाउट सॉल्व करने आएंगे, या फिर मैं बोलूँ आप डाउट क्लैरिफाई करने आएंगे। इसका मतलब क्या करने आए, कोई चीज जो आप समझ नहीं पा रहे तो वो मुझसे समझने के लिए आ रहे हैं, ठीक। यही सिमिलरली चीज है, देखिए हमारा देश इतना बड़ा है, ठीक है। आज मैं एक चीज बोलता हूं तो डेफिनेटली चार ऐसे लोग निकल के आएंगे जिस उसका मतलब वो कुछ और लेंगे। तो ऐसे एक्ट के साथ भी होता है, होता था, होता है और होता रहेगा। तो उसके लिए डिपार्टमेंट क्या करती है, डायरेक्ट टैक्स का डिपार्टमेंट क्या, सीबीडीटी, सेंट्रल बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस। तो वे क्या करती है, टाइम टू टाइम जब उनको लगता है कि हाँ लोगों की कंफ्यूजन अब बढ़ रही है, लोग इसको ज्यादा गलत तरीके में ले रहे हैं ना, एक दो लोगों से नहीं आता ये चीज, करेक्ट, काफी जब एक मास स्केल पे ये होने लगता है तो डिपार्टमेंट क्या करता है, कुछ सर्कुलर्स और क्लैरिफिकेशंस लेके आता है और बताता है हाँ मिस्टर सुनिए आप ना ये समझने में गलती कर रहे हैं, हम ऐसा नहीं, हम ऐसा कहना चाह रहे थे, ठीक है। चौथा आता है नोटिफिकेशन, जो कि जिससे कि लोग डरते भी हैं, सीए सीएमए सीएस के स्टूडेंट, जो कि है अमेंडमेंट, टाइमली अमेंडमेंट, क्योंकि देखिए ये एक्ट 1961 का है, 1961 का है, करेक्ट। तो तब से चीजें बहुत बदल गई, इतनी बदल गई हैं कि मतलब मैं और आप इमेजिन भी नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है। तो टाइमली अमेंडमेंट्स आने जरूरी है, और डेली बेसिस पे भी, ठीक है। इनफैक्ट डीटी में तो कम आता है, पर जीएसटी में आप कह सकते हैं कि मंथली बेसिस अमेंडमेंट्स आते रहते हैं। तो नोटिफिकेशंस क्या है, एक अमेंडमेंट का जरिया, जहां सर डिपार्टमेंट हमको बताते हैं कि हमने ना, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम इसको पहले 5% से टैक्स करते थे, तो अब हम इसको 10% से टैक्स करें। तो क्या ये चेंजेस हुए, अमेंडमेंट्स हुए, वो नोटिफिकेशन के थ्रू आते हैं। और पांचवा जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बेसिस एक पार्ट बनता है, जो कि बात करता है जुडिशियल डिसीजंस की, कोर्ट के फैसलों की, करेक्ट। कहीं कहीं ऐसा भी होता है ना कि हम डायरेक्ट कोर्ट चले जाते हैं, तो अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट ने बताया तो उसको एक बार ओवरराइड किया जा सकता है, लेकिन अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कोई डिसीजन पास कर दिया कि नहीं इसको ऐसे नहीं ऐसे पढ़ना है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं ये है, तो आपको वही फॉलो करना पड़ेगा। हमारे पूरे सिलेबस में काफी जगह ऐसी आएंगी जहां हम इन चीजों पर डिस्कशन करेंगे कि लॉ ये कहता है लेकिन कोर्ट का डिसीजन ये है, तो ये होना चाहिए। तो आप कोई भी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू पकड़ के उसको सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, गलत कुछ भी नहीं, ठीक है। मृत्युंजय इतना ठीक था ना आपके लिए, आपको ये समझ में आ गया ना? Okay, so what actually will happen is that those who are not good in Hindi, their Hindi will tend to increase more, and those who are not good in English, their English will increase. Okay, correct. अगर मैं बीच बीच में भटक जाऊं ना मृत्युंजय, तो आप मुझे एक बार पिंग कर देना, सर भूल गए, ठीक है। I'll come back to that track. Okay. Now the next is section 4. Section 4 is a charging section. Always remember that whatever we'll study in this in law partner, the first section is always a charging section. What actually is a charging section? It says that on fulfillment of what conditions this will arise. Correct. We know for income tax, the basic chargeability is that you have to earn income. Correct. So basic principles for charging income tax. Now, the first point says that income of the previous year of a person is charged to a tax immediately following assessment year. That we have discussed, correct? That आप पिछले साल में कमाते हैं और इस साल में टैक्स करते हैं, यही तो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, दिस इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ प्रीवियस ईयर एंड असेसमेंट ईयर, correct? We took the example of Sanjana and we said that whatever she will earn in the year 2022 to 23 means 1st of April 2022 to 31st of March 2023, she will be paying tax for that in the next year, that is the assessment year 23 and 24, correct? The rate of tax is specified by the annual finance act of that year. I told you na, that of that year means income is of what year, 22 and 23, so that's finance act will be of 22 only, correct? So as per that, finance act 22 is applicable and rates are prescribed every year if it is changing or not. Okay, then certain special income and certain special lists is given over here. Okay, I'll not take you to you right now, but yes, we'll go to that very soon. Let's come to the third point. Irrespective of income chargeable to tax, tax shall be deducted at a source or paid in advance wherein applicable. See, whenever we talk about chargeability, na, I also repeat this word that we have to earn income, then you have to pay income tax. Correct. But sometimes we'll see na, that actually we have 5 sources of income. Okay, our income tax generally recognizes income from five different heads, and each different head has a different perspective of seeing the income. Some will say when you receive, we tax. Some says that if it is due advance or not yet due, means you have not yet paid, advance means you have received in advance, it will be charged on that basis. Correct. So chargeability will not only arise when you have earned it, but in certain cases, whenever it's due or it's paid, whichever is earlier, chargeability do arises. Yes, I'm talking about the salary. Okay. Well, when you'll go to that, when we'll go to that, we'll get a clear idea what actually I'm saying. ठीक है, क्या होता है कि कभी कभी क्या ना, हम मैं भी ये वर्ड यूज करता, जनरली सारे ये लोग ये वर्ड यूज करते हैं, आप कमाओ आप पैसे भरो, ठीक, आप टैक्स भरो। लेकिन कई बार ऐसा होता है ना, कुछ कुछ सोर्सेज में ऐसा गवर्नमेंट एक्ट खुद बताता है कि जरूरी नहीं है कि आप कमाओ, अगर आप कमाने के काबिल हो गए, मतलब अगर 1 तारीख महीने की पहली तारीख को आपकी तनख्वाह ड्यू हो गई है, भले मिला ना हो आपको, ठीक है, तो वो तभी मान लिया जाएगा कि आपने कमा लिया और आपको टैक्स देना पड़ेगा। सिमिलरली अगर पिछले महीने की सैलरी आप इस महीने ले लेते हो ना, चलो मानता हूं कि आपने अभी तक उसके लिए काम नहीं किया, लेकिन आपको मिल गया ना, तो आपको उसको एडवांस बेसिस पे ऐसा माना जाएगा कि आपको मिल गया, आप इसी महीने उसी उसी साल की इनकम वो पड़ेगी, आप उसको टैक्स दे दो। ठीक है। सेक्शन 4 is the charging section of the Income Tax Act. The tax liability arises by virtue of this section, and it arises at the close of previous year. Tax is paid in the AY. So AY is assessment year and PY is previous year. Correct. So as discussed, section 4 is nothing but your charging section. Okay. It says income tax will arise. Again, same thing that you earn in the previous year, and in the next year, that is in the assessment year, you're going to pay tax on it. Okay. यहां तक सबको everybody clear है? Is it clear to everybody? Then I'll move ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we discussed right now that what is the current previous year for us? It is 1st of April 2022 to 31st of March 2023. Correct? And what will be the assessment year for that? It will be 1st of April, means after this date. Okay. After this date, our assessment year starts. 1st of April 2023 to 31st of March 2024, and the applicable Finance Act is Finance Act 2022. Clear, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls?
Yes, sir.
Ma'ams and sirs?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay. बहुत अच्छे से सुनाई दिया. Good energy.
सुनाई पड़ा आपको?
So assessment year and previous year. Okay. Now, okay. Now I'll discuss something. Now see, today again we'll take example of Sanjana ma'am. Okay. Okay. We'll take example of ma'am and we'll solve it. So suppose now whenever I take the name Sanjana, okay, for example, I'm denoting her by SA. Okay. What you understand by Sanjana? She is an individual, correct? Now, okay, I'm giving you two different perspectives. Okay, give me a second. I'm giving you two different perspectives of Sanjana itself. Okay. One is that she is working, and one is that she is running a business. Correct. Now, whenever I talk about earning, okay, whenever I talk about earning, so I'm just taking a our own financial our own previous year and assessment year example. Suppose this is 1st of April 2022. Okay, here it is the end of the year, that is 31st/3/2023. So from here our new year begins, that is 1st of April 2023, and suppose here it ends 31st/3/2024. Correct? Now similar for the business as well, that 1st of April 2022, 31st of March 2023, 1st of April 2023 and 31st of March 2024. Okay. Okay, so the yellow line depicts our previous year, correct? So here, the yellow line depicts our previous year and the blue line depicts our assessment year, correct? So when she is working, what do you expect her to earn? Profits, investments, yes?
Income.
Income. You mean to say salary?
Yeah.
Correct. So whenever she will be earning, she will be earning salary. But when you are doing business, what do you expect to earn?
Profits.
Profits, correct. Whenever we talk about business, we talk about profit. Now, suppose for an example, she started working from, say, 1st of July. 1st of July 2022. So so what will be the previous year for her? Common logic. Let's not, we'll not go into the details, but what do you think shall her previous year start from? 1st of July ओनली ना. कमाना जहां से शुरू किया वहीं से तो प्रीवियस ईयर होगा. जहां था ही नहीं वहां क्या करें? करेक्ट. ये खत्म कब होगा आपके हिसाब से?
31st to 31st March
2023. So you are saying that previous year may not be 12 months, correct? That's what coming out, correct? And that's correct. And that's correct. Okay. But if I talk about assessment year, what it will be? Will it be the same? 1st of April 2023, Miss 23 and 24. Will that be the assessment year? Same assessment year? No matter whenever you start earning in the previous year? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen.
No, sir.
No? Why no? So you're saying assessment year be change hoga, sir. It's like that.
No, I mean the assessment year would be continued till 31st 3/24.
23. Miss, you mean to say that previous year may not be of 12 months, but assessment year has to be of 12 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do everyone agree with the statement said by ma'am? Yes. 1 girls and 3 boys. 2 boys.
So, sir.
Ruchi, there was a network lag. एक बार फिर से कहिए रुचि, सुनाई नहीं दिया, बहुत नेटवर्क बहुत खराब था. मुरली लक्ष्मण, gentlemen, you all agree to what Sanjana said? That previous year might not be of 12 months, but assessment year will always be of 12 months. Be it in the case of salary or... Okay, Sanjana, will your answer change if I talk about business?
No, sir, I guess it would be same in both
It
the
would be
cases.
same, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You all guys agree to statement of working Sanjana and business entrepreneur Sanjana? You guys agree to it? Okay, I have got a reply. Yes, sir. Okay. And I hope Ruchi will also agree because this is the correct one. Okay. So why all these drawings, sir? What was needed? Correct. You could have discussed.
Yes, sir, I also agree.
You also agree.
Sorry.
I expect agree from you. Okay. And this drawing was for nothing. Okay. This was just so that you never ever forget this. Okay. So what we depicted from here is that previous year might not be of 12 months. Okay. but assessment year will always be 12 months, correct? Do remember this thing. This will help us in PGPP. Correct. So previous year might not be of 12 months. Correct. Maybe in case of individual, in case of business, whatever it is, working employee or individual business, whatever it is. Okay. But assessment year will always be of 12 months. Remember this. Okay. So what actually is the assessment year is all about? Assessment year, the period of 12 months commencing on the first day of April every year after the end of the previous year. Income earned in the previous year is charged to tax during the assessment year. Correct? Nothing new. Okay, I forgot that in Hindi. So हमने अभी क्या डिस्कस किया? हमने ये डिस्कस किया ना कि देखिए मैटर नहीं करता आप कब से कमा रहे, ठीक है? आपका प्रीवियस ईयर हमेशा 31 मार्च को, अगले साल के 31 मार्च को खत्म होगा ही। मैटर नहीं करता आपने कितना अर्न किया, हो सकता आप एक ही महीना चले हो, ठीक है? बिजनेस के लिए थोड़ा सा चीजें चेंज होती है, वो हम बिजनेस वाले पार्ट में पीजीबी में डिस्कस करेंगे कि बिजनेस का ना एक अलग ईयर कैलकुलेशन होता है। जब कोई बिजनेस ना, और जब कोई बिजनेस 1 Jan या उसके बाद से इनकॉर्पोरेट होता है ना, तो 3 महीने का क्या ही करेंगे, तो वहां पे थोड़ा सा बिजनेस का फाइनेंशियल ईयर चेंज हो जाता है, तो उसके हिसाब से। लेकिन अगला असेसमेंट ईयर उनका 12 महीना ही होता है, प्रीवियस ईयर हल्का सा बदल जाता है, ठीक है? तो क्या हो जाता है ना, मैं आपको बता ही देता हूँ व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंस ना, इफ अ बिजनेस इज कमेंस्ड ऑन 1 Jan और आफ्टर दैट, सो व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंस, जस्ट अ 3 month period is there, correct, for the previous year. So that isn't just an exception for business, where what we say na, now there, suppose for let's take an example. Let's take an example. Suppose a business started on 1 Jan 2020, 2021. Okay, so let's discuss. Suppose a business started from 1 Jan 2021. Okay, right now handwriting might not look good. Okay, but just bear with it. So what, according to whatever we have read right now till now, okay, what shall be this? Wait a minute. Okay, so what I was saying is that suppose there is a business which is starting from 1 April 2021. Correct. So as per the law that we have read right now, where its previous year should end, it should end on 31st of 3, 2021. Correct. This is something which is inside a previous year. Correct. So where it is beginning from, it is beginning from 1 April 2020 to 31st of 3, 2021. Correct. This is the exact previous year in which this business has started. Correct. But I'm talking about if it has started on 1 Jan or after 1 Jan. Then what actually happens? It won't, this previous year won't end over here. It will tend to continue till 31st of 3, 2022. So what actually has happened is that, okay, in the previous year, which is 21 to 31st 3/22, okay, this is a previous year of 12 months. Okay, this is a previous year of 12 months. In this 12 months na, this additional 3 months are added of the last previous year, so their previous year becomes 15 months, and that is what we have. Okay, so what I was saying, so thus 3 months are added and their previous year becomes a 15 month. And same, that's why the definition what I have said is that previous year might not be of 12 months. Here I have never said that it will be less than 12 months. It can be less than. I said that it may not be of 12 months. That means this clearly depicts that it can be of 15 months as well. But this is only exception in the case of business which has started on 1 Jan or after. Okay. I think now it might be very clear to everybody. The next one is previous year uniform pay. Previous year is what? Financial year immediately preceding the assessment year. Okay, very great definition is given. Okay. Now, whatever the discussions we have done till now, what we say that you earn in the previous year and you pay tax in the assessment year in the next year. Correct? That's what we are discussing right now. But there are 5 exceptions where if you earned in the previous year, it will be taxed in the previous year only. It's saying that exception to the general rule that income of a previous year is taxed in its assessment year. So what will be the exception? Previous year income will be taxed in the previous year. Only 5 exceptions are there. And when we'll read this now, we'll come to know what, yes, actually it should have been done. Correct. Now, suppose for an example, I'm running a business. Okay. So what is the general rule? This year I'll earn and next year I'll pay tax. Correct. What will you say if I do the business in this year and I close my business and I run away? What you will do? You cannot catch me. You cannot catch me for tax. Why? Because the rule says that in the next year I'm eligible to pay tax. No one can catch me. Correct. So this kind of cases where people to evade tax, they close down their business, okay, or they try to run away. Okay, when they are caught, their tax is calculated at the point of tax, no matter whether it is the previous year itself. Okay, I just formed the base. Now I will discuss the exceptions. So the first exceptions comes out to be that income of a non-resident assessee from shipping business. Now see, why non-resident? The name suggests non-resident. Shipping business means it has just came in the India for some business and very soon it will go away. So it has to be taxed right now. When it is there on the Indian port, we have to catch that, we have to collect the tax from that. Correct? Because it's not going to come in the assessment year to pay tax only. Correct. And how the taxability arises? Whatever the gross receipts are there, how they are taxable and all, just remember, just whatever the business they have done in the India, 7.5% of gross receipts are taxable. Simple. Okay. So suppose for an example, the ship has brought, say for example, 10 lakh rupees of goods to India. Correct. So 10 lakh business has been done. So on 10 lakh, 7.5%, that is 75,000. They have to pay tax in India and there they can go now. करेक्ट. आप लोग एग्री करते हैं ना कि क्यों इसको किया गया? क्योंकि एक नॉन रेसिडेंट शिपिंग बिजनेस है, आज आया कल चला जाएगा, वो अगले साल फिर आएगा क्या टैक्स देने? अगर आप ऐसा सोचते हुए कि अगले साल फिर आएगा टैक्स देने, तो फिर बहुत मुश्किल है. ठीक है, फिर चीजें थोड़ी अलग हो जाएंगी. ठीक है, ऐसा आप सोचिएगा भी मत, और मैं एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं करता कि आप ये सोचते हैं कि हाँ सर वो आएगा ना अगले साल टैक्स दे जाएगा, तो फिर ठीक है, आप देश चलो. Okay, so the first exception is that non-resident shipping business. Okay, remember this point as a name of in our ship. Why? हम शिप से भी तो बाहर जा सकते हैं ना, और बाहर जाकर नॉन रेसिडेंट बन सकते हैं. So acronym we call it acronym is that in our ship. So whenever I talk about in our ship, that means non-resident shipping business. See, income of a person who is leaving India either permanently or for a long period. Correct. That's what I said. I'm earning this year. Okay. And on 31st of April, or say for example, 1st January, I'm saying, हो गया, I have earned a lot of income, भाग लेते बेटा, अगले साल टैक्स देना पड़ेगा. Correct. So whenever you will caught, okay, अगर आप पकड़े गए तो आपको टैक्स तुरंत भरना पड़ेगा, नो मैटर असेसमेंट ईयर शुरू हुआ है कि नहीं. Okay. See, we use the word in our ship. Now we'll use the word running person. भाग रहा है. Okay, remember it by running person, but भाग जाना मत, do not write this in exam. It is person who is leaving India permanently or for a long period of time. So that their previous year income itself is taxed in the previous year. No need to wait for the assessment year. Income of bodies formed for a short duration. See, examples, bodies that are formed for a short duration. I hope you can give one example. There is a chapter in your accounts.
Partnership.
Okay, not wrong, but there's a one more, which is most appropriate.
Consignment basis.
Consignment is also not. One more name, one more name. Try, you can get it. When people do join their hands, they come into a venture.
Joint venture.
Yeah, that's it. Joint venture. So, for an example, okay, in India, Diwali. Okay, so it can happen na, that I'm a partner with someone for only for selling of the firecrackers. Correct? Diwali gone, I am gone. Correct? No one can catch me. So in that case also, the bodies which are formed for a shorter durations, okay, they are for them the assessment year itself is the previous year. Okay, remember the example JV, joint venture, short duration joint venture. Fourth one, income of a person who is likely to transfer property to avoid tax. मैं अपनी प्रॉपर्टी बेच डाल रहा हूँ, अरे बाबा टैक्स कौन देगा, बेच डालो इसको. Correct. It can be done and it's done also. Okay, it's a very common practice. Trust. Yeah. Correct. Why I gave the example of joint venture? Because it will be there in your account syllabus, so you can remember. Okay, that's why I connected you with the word joint venture. Otherwise, partnership and one more consignment is also correct. It's not wrong, but joint venture will connect you more. That's it. Okay, income of a person who is likely to transfer property to avoid tax. तो पकड़े गए ना, इसका मतलब क्या, पकड़े गए, you are caught red handed. If you are falling into this, what do you think? You yourself went to a department, said when in a property transfer kar, I transferred the property to avoid. Correct. This is situation you are caught red handed. Correct. So you have to pay tax right now, no need to wait for the assessment year. Okay, you can say it's a kind of penalty as well. Fifth one, income of a discontinued business. आप बिजनेस बंद कर रहे हो. Correct. But yes, whenever we talk about discontinued business now, we do not always tend to say that he is avoiding tax. अरे business तो कभी भी बंद हो सकता है ना. It's a very natural thing. So that's why something is added with that. The line says that in this case, the assessing officer has the discretionary power. That is, he may assess the income in the previous year or may wait till the assessment year. Correct. If I'm not doing anything with the view to what I can say evade tax. Okay, tax evasion. Okay, टैक्स की चोरी को करना, टैक्स इवेजन करते. ठीक है, अवॉइड टैक्स और टैक्स इवेजन करते. यूज नाउ वी विल यूज दिस वर्ड्स. ओके, your tax buddies for me. Correct. So we'll use some great words of great volume. So it's not the business. See, suppose for example my business is not running good. Correct. So what I'll do, suppose I'm in the month of June, so I'll wait for the March for the year to end and then I'll discontinue the business. इतने महीने लॉस खाता ही रहूं, बिजनेस खुला रहेगा तो खर्चे होंगे ना. So in case of discontinued business, it's always the discretionary power is on the assessing officer. If he thinks that yes, he is doing so as to avoid the tax, so in that case, it will be charged in the previous year itself. But the cases where it is about genuinity, बहुत losses हो रहे हैं, he cannot bear it anymore. He discontinue. So he is discontinuing the business. In that case, it may be taxed in the assessment year as well. Okay. So what are those 5 exceptions? NR ship, non-resident shipping business. Second one is running person, leaving India permanently or for a long period of time. Joint venture, bodies formed for short duration. And fourth one will be transfer of property. Okay, transfer of property to avoid tax. And fifth one is discontinued business, business band. Okay, these are the only 5 exceptions. And sometimes a direct short notes do come, exceptions to the general rule of previous year. And 5 marks, 5 points. In our business, joint venture, running person, property transfer, business discontinue. Okay. Clear till here to everybody? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, see, actually, there are various definitions given. Okay, I won't discuss all the definitions. Okay, I'll not read it all, but we'll discuss this. It will be on your part of work to read those definitions at least once in your life. Okay, I'm not saying once in the till exam. Once in your life, you read it once in your life. Okay, I'll be very honest. I know what you can do. Okay, so once in your life, please do read it. Now see, whenever we're talking about that, I'll pay tax, I'll pay tax, I'll pay tax. Okay, I'll have an assessing officer with me. I'll have a assessing officer. Correct. You know what I am termed as? I am a assessee to the department. Why? Because my assessment will be done. So I am a assessee, and one who will be doing the assessment is my assessing officer. Clear? With the word assessment here, the one on whom the assessment is done is the one on whom the assessment is done is the assessee. One who is doing the assessment is the assessing officer. Clear? Now, whenever we talk about assessee, na, we always feel like, jo tax dega na, wahi assessee. But no, it's not the case. Sometimes what happens na, you might not be, there might not be any liability to pay tax, but there might be some penalty on you. पेमेंट टू द डिपार्टमेंट के पास जाएंगे तभी एसएससी होंगे ना. दुकान में आटा खरीदने जाओगे तो एसएससी थोड़ी ना बन जाओ. करेक्ट. सो लेट्स कीप दैट सिंपल कि व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट यू विल बिकम एसएससी, दैट मींस यू आर गोइंग टू द डिपार्टमेंट. करेक्ट. यू विल नॉट गो टू द मार्केट एंड विल बिकम एसएससी फॉर द डिपार्टमेंट. करेक्ट. So one who is the assessee, the one who is on whom there is a tax liability. Second one, it might be possible that my tax liability has ended, but there might be some penalty, there might be some penal provisions on me, which I have to fulfill, or I have to pay something to a department. In that case also, I am termed as an assessee. Correct? Okay. Now see, every person whom any proceeding under this act has been taken, means there are some penal provisions on you. B, a person who is assessable in respect of income or loss of another person. What actually it is, you will understand at some later point of time. But अभी मैं कोशिश करता हूँ समझाने की आप लोगों को. What actually it is saying is that sometimes what happens, you become a guarantor of someone. Correct. Like you'll read in IDT that for a non-resident everything and all, some NRTP, non-resident taxable person, Ruchi knows all those well. Correct. So because she has been my student. Correct, Ruchi?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, आप ना बोलती तो बहुत बुरा हो जाता है. याद ना भी हो ना तो मैं पूछा करूं तो हाँ बोल दिया करो, बाद में मैं समझ लूंगा. Okay, so for NRTP and all, there are different provisions. Okay, there are different provisions. So for them, always a guarantor is needed who is a resident. So at some cases, you become liable for others' loss or gains. So you have to pay tax for, because you have become guarantor. आपने guarantee क्यों दी उसको? Correct. Why have you given guarantee to him? So in that case, sometimes you become responsible for others' gains or other incomes or other loss. In that case, you become assessee because now you need to pay the tax on behalf of them. Okay. Third one, every person who is deemed to be an assessee under any provision of this act. बहुत अच्छी बात कही. मानो आप assessee बन गए तो आप assessee हो. Okay. If you are deemed to be assessee, you are assessee. Where are the situations where you will be deemed to be assessee? PGBP will discuss the maximum points. Person who is deemed to be assessee in default under any provision of this act. Okay, this has the same meaning as a point A, that if you have made any see, simple things, just keep this simple. If the tax liability is on you, you are assessee. Correct? If there is some penal provisions or you are under a default proceedings, so you are an assessee. Sometimes you become assessee or you are liable for other incomes or losses. In that case, you are assessee. Okay, and any other provision under this act, if they deem you as assessee, so in that case you are assessee. Okay, now whenever I talk about assessee in default, what I mean to say, a person who is liable to deduct tax but has failed to do so shall be treated as assessee in default. Okay, like maximum you'll see some provisions very soon or sooner or later, that for a payment to a non-resident or anything, okay, you have to always deduct a TDS. Okay, TDS is a tax deducted at source. Tax deducted at source. It is also a compliance. okay, which is imposed by the department on us on various cases, but maximum this point is used in case of in-hour payments and all, okay, payment to non-resident. So in that case, you have to deduct TDS, and if you fail to deduct the TCS, so in that case, you were liable to deduct the tax, but you didn't do so. So you are now assessing in default. Okay, so you also become assessing in this other perspective. Yes. May I move ahead, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Now, financial year. What is a financial year? Help me out.
So the year,
First,
1st April to 31st March is called financial year,
Okay.
in which we
Yes.
can file the return.
रिटर्न ये बोलना जरूरी नहीं था, उतना ही काफी था. Yes.
हाँ.
Yes. Entrepreneur Sanjana, you are saying something?
the same.
Same. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. That's good answer. Now, previous year for new business. Okay. See, I think this definition is not fully printed. Example, date of business has come into existence on 1st December 2021. So in that case, I told you, na, it will end in 2022. Correct. But if I say that it has came into existence on, say for example, 21st of Jan 2022. So what will be its end of previous year?
31st March 2023.
31st March 2020. Correct. Done. You are done for the day. You may leave now. Okay. Now, see, income tax now has what actually it's what actually right now we're going to read now. See, I'm assessing. Okay, I'm assessing to the department and the capacity of individual. Correct. A business is also assessing in capacity of its own because it has to pay tax. Correct. A firm, a partnership firm who is earning income is liable to pay tax. They are also an assessing to the government. But what government has done, government has taken all those such sources or from where income is earned, they have put them under a common name. Okay. And what is that common name? That common name is person. I am a person, you are a person. As per me, I am a person. Correct. But for me, a company is not a person. A company is a company. Correct. But we have to see things from income tax perspective. What income tax says? Income tax says that for me, individual, Shivam, you, Sanjana, you, Ruchi, you are a person. Okay. The same income tax is pointing towards a business. They're saying that you are also a person to me. A partnership firm, you are also a person to me. Association of person. Okay. What actually is the association of person? Ruchi will help us. AOP क्या होता है रुचि? और BOI क्या होता है? ये बता दीजिए, दोनों में से कोई भी.
So right now I can't help
No
because I
worries,
forgot.
no worries, no worries. You are not my DT student. No worries, no worries. Okay, so there are two words, AOP and BOI. Okay, Ruchi, from next term, if I ask, do reply. Okay, it's going on record. Now, when I talk about BOI and when I talk about AOP, correct. Now, see, BOI depicts body of individual. Don't you think like where persons will come together? Correct. Where individuals will come together and they will do something. Correct. That is a BOI. But whenever I talk about association of persons, now see, just now we read persons includes all different names. Individual, HUF. I'm coming to HUF. I've not yet discussed. A company, a firm, and many more what we'll discuss right now. So don't you think that in association of person, there can be an individual, there can be a company, there can be a partnership working together? Correct. That's why it is association of persons. And other one is the body of individuals, where only individuals means human with two eyes, one nose, two hands, two legs, finger might be more. Okay. Maybe 11, 12. That's not an issue. So they will come and work together. That is a body of individuals. That's why the name is BOI. But AOE is association of persons where me on my individual capacity, a company on its own capacity, because it is also termed in a person, And a partnership firm may as well, with three of us can combine and we can do something. That is association of person. Another word, whether incorporated or not, it may not be required that they must be governed by some act. If they are working together, they are named as it. Okay. In fact, in company law, you'll read that where more than 50 of individuals are working together. After that, they have to get registered. Otherwise, it will be illegal associations. Correct. So we are discussing about persons. We said that we individuals, okay, who have the same characteristics. We are person for income tax. A company is also a person. A firm means a partnership firm is also under the category of person. AOP and BOI. Okay, we'll say AOP and BOI, not association of person and body of individuals. You got the difference, correct? What actually it is. Yes. Okay. Now, if I talk about, there's a name which says that Hindu undivided family. When I talk about Hindu undivided family, okay, right now I won't go very detail into it, okay, because there are three kind of Hindu undivided family who all are there in India. So, but just remember, family doing business, a family business. Correct. Hindu undivided family means a business where all family members are working together. Okay, family business. अरे कोई ना होता है ओके सो मैं बोला ना आप आईडीटी की स्टूडेंट थी कोई बात सो हिंदू अनडिवाइडेड फैमिली मींस a business where all family members are working together. Correct. That is defined at Hindu undivided family HUF. So who all came in the definitions? Take the name along with me. Individuals, Hindu undivided family means HUFs, a company, a firm, AOP, BOI. Okay. Next one is a local authority. Local authority means authorities which are very local to us, correct? In our areas and all. If someone would have given this answer, I would have booked a chocolate on their address from Amazon. What a great idea. Okay, local authority simply here means the corporations, the authorities, okay, in our areas and all. Okay, they all are local. They also come under the categories of person. Okay. Seventh one is a kind of what I can say. Let's read. Every artificial juridical persons not falling within any of the preceding categories. Means those who all are not falling under here and they are an artificial juridical persons, they are also treated as person. Okay. What if I say you that the temples, the bigger temples who are getting tons of donations, you know, their income is also treated. They are treated as a trust. And trust falls under artificial juridical person. Educational institutions and all, okay, hospitals and all, they all fall under artificial juridical persons. Okay, this artificial juridical persons, as the courses will move on, will tend to see more. There are n number of names. Okay, but right now just keep it simple that it's not the persons. It's not above all those six names. Means they are not the individuals. They are not the HUF. They are not the company. They are not the firm. They are not the AOP or BOI. They are not the local authority. Other than that, if there is someone who is artificially being made, okay, and they are earning an income, so they are also taxed under Income Tax Act under the head persons. So wherever the law is for the persons or the law itself says that it is applicable on persons, so in that case, they will also be taxed. Clear? Yes, boys and girls.
Yes, sir.
Okay. TTD means Lakshman. I didn't get you. Okay, Tirumala, Tirupati. Yeah. Correct. Devasthan. Okay, note, union government cannot be taxed. Why union government cannot be taxed? Government खुद से पैसे लेगी क्या? You can define it. that way. AOP, BOI, local authority, and artificial judicial person is a necessity, irrespective of whether deriving income, profit, gains or not. What they mean to say? It's not required that you have to earn income, but yes, if you are there, okay, you will be treated as an assessee. It might be possible. I mean, that means they're saying what department is trying to say. Na, you will come to know as you will come to know more about income tax. They're saying you file your return. I'm not saying you earn income when you file. You at least file your return. You report it to us that whatever you are earning. I'm not saying that you are earning profit, you have to pay tax, but yes, report whatever you are earning to us. Correct? Yes. So all the names that I have said right now is little bit clearer to everybody. Correct? Now it's on your turn to read all these definitions once. Okay. But yes, in company, I'll go something in company. Okay. Now, whenever we talk about just a second. Now, whenever we talk about a company, now, have you ever seen they say this is a foreign company? I think some words are being full screen is visible to you, correct? Irrespective of the my video. Correct. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll just stop the video at this point. Okay, so whenever we talk about the company, now, have you ever heard this is a foreign company? This is an Indian company. This is a domestic company. Correct. Sometimes or others, definitely we have heard this. Okay. Now, how to segregate this, sir? Which is a foreign company, which is a domestic company? Okay, which is an Indian company? Now, see, just give me an example. There is a company named, say, RR. Okay, it's implemented in USA. Okay, and it's trading. Okay, means it is doing business to with, say, for example, America, Japan, China. Correct, but it is not in India. Correct, it is not in India. So reply me, do you call this RR as a foreign company or not? Will you call this RR as a foreign company or not?
Yes, sir, we can.
We can. Okay. Anyone has any different perspective? Okay, I'll discuss. First I'll go it in Hindi, then I'll go it in English. आप मुझे ये बताइए, ये जो RR नाम की कंपनी है, ये यूएसए से अमेरिका बिजनेस कर रही है, जापान कर रही है, चाइना कर रही है, इंडिया में तो नहीं कर रही है। तो मैं इंडिया में बैठे हुए मैं इसको क्यों फॉरेन कंपनी बुलाऊं? जरूरत है क्या? मुझे तो पता ही नहीं है क्या कर रही है। जरूरत है क्या इसको फॉरेन कंपनी बुलाने की? पहले ये बताइए, क्या लॉजिकल लगता है? मैं इंडिया में बैठा हूँ, एक कंपनी है जो विदेश में है, वो विदेश में डील कर रही है, मेरे पास आ भी नहीं रही मेरी कंट्री में, तो क्या मैं उसको फॉरेन कंपनी बोलूं? क्या लगता है? लॉजिकल होगा बोलना? आप बोल ही देते हैं ना, लोग बोलते हैं। करेक्ट, ये कॉमन टर्म है, हम बोलते हैं। जब फॉरेन कंपनी की बात आती है ना, हम यही सोचते हैं जो बाहर है ना वही है। नहीं, दिस इज द रॉन्ग परसेप्शन। हम इंडिया में बैठे हुए हैं, हम अपनी बात तो नहीं कर रहे, हम इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं। इनको किससे मतलब है? इनको मतलब है टैक्स दो, टैक्स लाओ। करेक्ट। तो अगर एक कंपनी बाहर बैठी है और बाहर ही बाहर देश में ट्रांजैक्शंस कर रही है, तो उससे मुझे क्या? मैं उसको क्यों फॉरेन कंपनी बोलूं? आपको नहीं लगता मैं सही बोल रहा हूं? पहले यहां कमेंट करिए। जेन्युइन लग रहा है ना जो मैं बोल रहा हूं?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So this is what a common perception is there. Okay, it's not mistaken for you. If a company is sitting outside India and it's not even coming to India, okay, it's dealing with foreign countries, it's not coming to India. So why are we going to call that company as a foreign company? We may term that once, but why? See, whatever we are studying right now, we are not studying it from our perspective. we're studying it from departments, income tax act's perspective, correct? What it is more concerned that everyone who is earning income should pay tax. But to that company who's sitting outside India, will that matter to me? Will that matter to the department, whatever they're doing? No, it will not. Correct. So whom we will call foreign company? First, let us know. First, let's try to know who is the foreign company. Those companies which are incorporated outside India, but has a place of business in India, either physically or through web or through agents. Do you guys agree to it? कि अगर कोई कंपनी है जो बाहर बनी है, वो इंडिया में आके बिजनेस कर रही है ना, तब हमको उससे मतलब है। अब हम बोलेंगे ये फॉरेन कंपनी है, ये बाहर की कंपनी है, इंडिया में आके बिजनेस करी, अब इसको टैक्स करना पड़ेगा हमारे यहाँ पे। करेक्ट? ये सही लग रहा है कि नहीं? इज दिस मोर एप्ट? आई एम सेइंग दैट foreign company is that company which is incorporated outside India, definitely. Okay, because if it is incorporated in India ना, it will become Indian company. जिसका जन्म ही इंडिया में हो, वो फॉरेनर कैसे बन सकता है? सिंपल लॉजिक, करेक्ट? हु इज बोर्न इन इंडिया, they cannot be Americans. Okay, but whom will we term the foreign company? A company which is incorporated outside India but has a place of business in India, either physically, maybe stores, correct? For example, Apple's, Samsung and all. Okay, and either through web, okay, means electronically it is selling it in India, or through any agent. Yes, foreign company, is it clear to everybody? This will help you in company law as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's come to the point, Indian company. Can we call any company which is incorporated outside India as an Indian company? Yes,
No.
definitely not. So Indian company, a company which is
Incorporated in India.
in India. रुचि एक बार और बोलिए, इनकॉर्पोरेटेड।
Incorporated.
ये
क्या हो
पूरा
गया?
है ना, तो पूरा है ना, नॉन रेसिडेंट वाली टर्न है इनकॉर्पोरेटेड। वाह, फॉरेन टर्न। यस, doesn't that accent seem to be a bit foreigner? Incorporation, great. अच्छा, सही सही। Now, we got the definition of Indian company, we got the definition of foreign company. But in Indian company also, there is a bit more bifurcation about the domestic company. See, why we are doing these definitions now? Because the taxability portion is different for different. Okay, for foreign company, there is some higher rates is there. For Indian company, a bit lower. For domestic company, a bit more lower. Correct. So, whom I called Indian company? A company who is incorporated inside India. Correct. Means under Companies Act 2013 or any other previous Companies Act. Correct. So let's read out the definition. Indian company, section 2, clause. Okay, remember always where there is a section 2, it will always have a clause, it will not have a subsection, because section 2 by virtue of the law is always a definition sections, and definition will never ever be subsections, it will be clause. Correct. So whenever you will, anywhere in the law, wherever you read section 2, now remember with section 2 it's always clause, because the first section by the law virtue itself is the short title, short titlement, okay, appointment date, and what we call it? We call it applicability. Okay, and section 2 is always a definition sections, and along with the sections, whatever is there, we call it clause. Okay, I think you guys are clear with it, na? Like if I take this is 10, this is section 10. So after this, it will be section 10 subsection 1. Okay.
It
Then
means like this, in the downside, it was section 2, clause 22A.
Correct. With 2, it will always be clause because definitions are clauses. But if it is section, like if it would have been 3.6, what I would have said? I would have said section 3, subsection 6. Okay. If it would have been 361, then section, subsection, clause 1.
Then clause.
Correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
These all are basic term. Okay. I don't remember, it's on my side. I'll keep on discussing this. Okay. So Indian company means the company formed and registered under the Companies Act 2013 or any previous, or includes a corporation established by or under a central, state or provincial act. Means it is governed by, it should be governed by act. Okay, that's why I use the word incorporated in India. जन्मिया हुआ कैसे भी हो, correct. Any institution, association or body which is declared by the CBDT to be a company. Okay, there are few examples. Okay, where institutions are been established or they have been defined as a company. We'll go through that. Okay, this is a definition of Indian company, correct? Now we'll go to the definition of foreign company. Okay, wow, foreign company means a company which is not a domestic company. Okay, let's read the domestic company. What is it? Domestic company means an Indian company. An Indian company is always a domestic company, or any other company which for its income liable to tax or has made arrangements for the declaration and payment of dividends within India. समझ में आया क्या? इतना नहीं समझ में आया ना? सही बात, नहीं समझ में आ ही जाता तो मैं कैसे लियूं? Okay, so what it is saying, who is a domestic company? One who is an Indian company. Who is an Indian company? Incorporated in India, correct? And who is more domestic company? Means one more criteria is given. One, so here they are not talking about it should be incorporated, because see, the first point is a separate, second point is separate, correct? Either it should be an Indian company, that means it must be incorporated in India, or any other company. Any other company means foreign company as well, correct? Because those who are incorporated in India are covered in the first point. And second point says that any other company, that means with that foreign company that we discuss right now, has a place of business in India. Okay. For which of its income liable to tax, means he is liable to pay tax in India. He will be also a domestic company. That means why he is liable to pay tax in India? Because he has done some business in India. He has earned some income. Correct. Or has made arrangement for the declaration and payment of dividend. Why they will do this? Because maximum of their shareholders belong to India. Correct? समझ में आया क्यों इसको प्रेफरेंस दिया जा रहा है? कैसे प्रेफरेंस दिया जा रहा है? या तो आप इंडियन कंपनी हो तो आप डोमेस्टिक कंपनी हो, साफ सीधी बात. इंडियन कंपनी मतलब इंडिया में इनकॉर्पोरेट हुए, या तो आप कोई और कंपनी हो जो इंडिया में टैक्स देने के लिए लायबल हो, मतलब आप इनकम कमा के दे रहे हो इंडिया को, तो आप डोमेस्टिक कंपनी हो. या फिर चलिए आपका इनकम भी टैक्सेबल नहीं है, लेकिन आप जो अपना डिविडेंड है ना वो इंडिया में डिक्लेयर करते हो. इसका मतलब क्या है? शेयर होल्डर्स इंडिया से बिलोंग करते हैं. करेक्ट. सो इट रेवेन्यू इज कमिंग टू द इंडिया. दैट्स व्हाट दे आर determined as domestic company. And foreign company means any company which is not a domestic company. Correct. Means incorporated outside India and has a place of business in India. ये जो definition which I am saying of foreign company, you will find it in company law. Correct. So let's sum up. Company falls under the category of person. First of all, company is divided into two parts: foreign company and Indian company, correct? And let's say that there are three parts. One is a foreign company, one is a domestic company, one is an Indian company. Let's start for foreign company. Foreign company are those companies which are not incorporated in India, but they have a place of business in India. Okay, either physically, electronically, or through agents, correct? Now comes the Indian company. Simple example, simple meaning, Indian company incorporated in India, maybe Companies Act or any other act by the authority of law. They have been enacted by the authority of law. The third one comes domestic company. It is a special kind of, what I can say, a special status, okay, as a domestic company. Domestic company, Indian company is a domestic company, first of all. And second, a company or any other company, that means who is not an Indian company, who is liable to pay tax in India. That means they're earning in India, they're doing their business in India, that's why they're going to pay tax in India. Or they have made arrangements for the declaration of their dividend in India. Why? Logic is that means the shareholders belongs over here. Correct. Now, suppose for an example, now Ruchi has a business. Okay, Ruchi is a non-resident in corporation. Okay, she is a non-resident and she is having a company in Africa. Okay. Say for example, she is having a furniture business. In Africa, she is cutting the woods, okay, and dealing in furniture. Now, suppose for an example, all her shareholders are in Africa. Only I am in India. Do you think Ruchi will come to India for declaring dividend to me? Sure, sir, लीजिए dividend लीजिए. Will she come?
No, sir.
Definitely not. But suppose for an example, her company is in Africa. She has only one shareholder in Africa, but she has 10 shareholders in India. So what she will do? She will arrange the preparation of dividend in India because maximum of shareholders belongs to India. Correct? Now you got the idea why domestic company a special reservation has been given to them, because they are making it earn into India. Okay, they are helping India to earn more and more revenue. Yes, everybody. और रुचि आपका तो बिजनेस कैसा चल रहा है फर्नीचर का? सारे लकड़ी काट डाल रही हो अफ्रीका के?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because Sanjana is she is the entrepreneur of the day. That's why I didn't send her to Africa. I thought after listening your word incorporation, let's send it to you. Now today, whatever next example will come, Lakshman will go abroad. Okay. Lakshman, pack your bags. Okay. A company in which public are substantially interested. Okay. Can anyone help me what actually they want to say? A company in which publics are substantially interested. क्या क्या कहना चाह रहा है? मतलब ये क्या डिपिक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहा है? हाँ, बोलिए 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 रुचि.
सर द कंपनी जिसमें ना मतलब पब्लिक इंटरेस्टेड है टू इन्वेस्ट
ठीक है,
लाइक दिस.
काफी हद तक. संजना, मिस एंटरप्रेन्योर.
A company in which the public, basically the external users are interested to invest and be a part of the company's holding.
Okay. Why you guys are always you both of your answers are very close to each other? Means publics have interest invested in them, interested as well and invested. Okay. Widely held company. Okay. There is a somewhat widely held company. We'll reserve this word right now. We won't go into discussion because many things will come. Now, company in which publics are substantially interested, they have given some names. One is a government company. Definitely, everyone wants to invest in government company. Company under Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. Section 8 companies, we know, not for profit organizations. Correct. Section
Like NGOs.
NGOs and all. Mutual benefit finance companies, listed company, company in which shares are held by cooperative societies, company which is prescribed by CBDT. Okay, actually I also don't know why they have given this, but yes, when they have given this, we'll read this. Actually, they're trying to depict that where publics are interested. Okay, where publics tends to go more. Okay, I don't know what we'll do with this, but okay. Okay, now firm, association of person, body of individuals, local authority, artificial juridical person. Okay, it's all on your term. Okay, that you will read it once in your life. I'm not saying read it today, read it tomorrow, once in your life, please. Now comes a very important definition. What is income? Okay, because till now, whatever we have discussed has revolved around the word you earn income, you pay tax. You earn income, you do this. You earn that income, you pay tax. You earn that income, you pay tax. अरे income है क्या बाबा, ये तो बताओ. सबको पता है what is income, what you earn, correct? But they have given definition of income as well. So it has several points which says that income may be received in cash or kind. Okay, It can be monetary, it can be in benefit form as well. For heads, salaries, house property, capital gain, the method of accounting is irrelevant. Okay, we'll discuss separately all of this in respective chapters. For PGBP and other source other than dividend, tax computation based on the method of accounting regularly followed by the SEC. We need not to focus more on these parts right now. Okay, notional income is not income. Notional income. Do anyone know what is the meaning of notional income? Not national income, huh? Notional income. Notional income is actually is not an income. Correct. Now, suppose for an example, I'll give you example. Suppose I am running my own business. Correct. So I'm working for my business. Okay. And what I have done now, I had a building. Okay. I had a building of, say for example, I have a godown. Okay. I had a godown. And right now I'm using that godown as a place of my business. Okay. So what I'm doing now, every year in the profit and loss account now, I'm charging a rent. Why? By this conception that if I would have rented this, then I would have paid a rent. So this is a deduction. But actually it is not happening. Correct. So this is a kind of notional income. Okay, I gave you from the point of view of expense. Okay, but this is also kind of notional income, which is actually not there, but with different logics and different common sense, people do bring it out. Okay. Now, whenever I talk about income now, incomes are generally of two kinds. Okay, incomes are generally of two kinds. One is of capital nature or receipt. One is of revenue nature.
Revenue nature.
Okay. How to determine what is the capital nature and what is your revenue nature? Yes, how to determine? Who will help me? How to identify that this income has a capital nature, this has a revenue nature? The basic point of differentiation. Yes, बोलिए.
सर जो रेवेन्यू जनरेट हो, जिससे रेवेन्यू जनरेट हो, दैट वाज रेवेन्यू नेचर.
वाह वाह वाह. और जिससे कैपिटल जनरेट हो वो कैपिटल नेचर.
नो जिसमें मतलब नहीं.
Okay, after the session gets over na, you do ping your address to me. Okay, I'll send you a parcel. Yes, Sanjana, Miss Entrepreneur for the day.
Sir, revenue expenditures are those expenditures which occur on day-to-day basis or normally
Correct.
calculated.
Regular. Correct.
Yeah,
Repetitive nature. क्या रुचि? Repetitive
Sorry,
nature. ये तो ठीक है, कोई बात
नहीं.
आपने-
मुझे लगा
आपने
ये रेवेन्यू
DT
वाला भी बात था.
नहीं, आपने DT मेरे से नहीं पढ़ा ना, कोई बात. चलता है, इतना चलता. आई एक्सपेक्ट दिस. IDT में आपको नहीं भी आता हो ना, आप माइक ही मत खोला करिएगा मैं कुछ पूछूं तो. ठीक है, मैं बोलूंगा शी हैज अ नेटवर्क इशू, अदरवाइज शी वुड हैव गिवन द आंसर.
सर एक्चुअली मैं उस टाइम पे मुझे ना AOA और MOA याद आ रहा था, वो नहीं याद आ रहा था.
Non recurring nature. Okay, capital income is generally can be classified into two. Not see, these are not nature, but these all are basis of differentiation. Okay, something which happens on a repetitive basis. Now, what is the best example of a business in a revenue nature? Yes, Sanjana. What are expense, revenue nature expense in your business?
So maybe rent.
Salaries.
Salaries. Okay. One thing you are missing. Both. Very common thing. जिसके लिए हम बिजनेस ही करते हैं.
Purchases of material.
वो मेरे लिए इनकम है. सही
none.
बोला, सही आपने सही बोला, सेल्स सेल्स सही बोला, मुझे सुनाई दिया, बाकी किसी को सुनाई दिया कि नहीं? मुझे सुनाई दिया, सेल्स करेक्ट. Sales is the best example, correct? Because we do business for sales, correct? So it is a repetitive nature and it is of revenue nature. Now see, there is a very general exception to revenue nature expenses, income or expense income. Okay, we'll talk about income. Okay, I'm sorry, I think I ignored someone. Yeah, benefit arriving. Sorry, Lakshman, I was completely engaged with ma'ams over here. Okay, so similarly, actually, there is a basic assumption that revenue nature income tends to more taxability. Okay, so whenever you earn a revenue nature of income, it's always taxable. Okay, income tax itself says that each and every revenue nature, okay, each and every revenue nature income will be taxed. But for capital nature, they will specifically mention which capital income should be taxed. Like for example, we have a separate head, capital gains. Okay, there all the capital nature will be taxed. But for PGBP, we'll see that law has been a very discriminative regarding this. Okay, whom to tax, whom not to tax. Okay, so remember this. Okay, this will help you. This will help you, help me, help us to understand things better. That generally revenue nature income tends more towards the taxability, whereas the capital, it will, wherever there will be capital, it will be mentioned that this capital income has to be taxed. Okay, now see, this is the same thing written over here. A capital receipt is not taxable to tax unless specifically provided. Means they will specifically say that this capital receipt or this capital nature of income has to be taxed. Revenue receipt is not exempted unless specifically provided. Now see what they're saying. If revenue will be revenue nature income will be exempted, that will be mentioned specifically. If not, everything has to be taxed. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, businessmen and women. Okay, income includes negative income. Whenever we talk about the income, whenever I use the word income, it also means I mean to say that losses as well. Definitely on losses, you will not pay any tax. In fact, you will claim some benefits if available. But yes, whenever I use the word income, okay, it also has a similar meaning, loss as well. Okay. Mere reimbursement of expense is not an income. Mere reimbursement of expense is not an income. Best example, I'll come to Sanjana ma'am again. Okay, so Sanjana was working, is work correct. So what actually is happening now? Every day she needs to go to office. Okay, for that she needs to catch a bus. She needs to catch Ola cab, whatever it is. Okay, so this is her expense. And what company is doing? Company at the end of the month, they are giving us some allowance as well for this transport. Correct. Okay, I'll not say transport allowance. Okay, we'll just those who have read salary beforehand, they will say, "Arey sir, kahan chalega?" Okay, suppose their company is reimbursing the same. So can department say that it is an income for Miss Sanjana? No, it cannot. Why? Because this is a mere reimbursement of the expense which she is doing. This is not an income. Correct. In case of dispute regarding the title of income, assessment cannot be withheld. Normally, if it is taxed in the hand of recipient. Okay. Suppose, for an example, we are two brothers. Okay. Shivam and Singh, we are two brothers. And we had, my father had a property. Okay. But what actually happened that right now, my father is, okay, just for an example. Okay. If something happens and the property is not yet clearly known that who actually belongs, who is the holder of this estate. Correct. So if there is something dispute in that, and we have rented that house and we are receiving some rent. Correct. So there is a dispute regarding the title of the income. Correct. That this income belongs to whom? For that, assessment cannot be withheld. That doesn't mean that if the title is not clear, that means that rent will not be taxed now. Once the court case will be done, whoever will receive the property, they will pay the tax. It's not like that. Assessment will be done. Normally, it is tax in the hand of recipient. Whoever is receiving, either me or my brother, whoever is receiving, I or me, whoever will receive, as the case may be, will pay the tax. Clear till this? Okay. No difference between legal and illegal income. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, department never ever discriminates in income. It may be legal, it may be illegal, pay tax. If it is illegal, pay the tax. After means after that, whatever consequences has to happen will happen. Okay, but first pay tax. चोरी का पैसा, अरे टैक्स पे करना, बाद में तेरे को जेल में भेजेंगे, टैक्स दे के जेल में जा. Okay, they are like this. So there is no differentiation between legal income and illegal income. Okay, क्योंकि if I'm saying it is a illegal income, that means this income has been caught, correct, red-handed. तभी तो illegal income का category में आएगा. Double taxation, same income cannot be taxed twice. Thank God they have said this, correct? Because I only said you that at some places we will study that paid or accrued or paid, whichever is earlier, is taxed on that basis, correct? Now, suppose for an example, I have received the salary in advance, correct? So that means in that year only it is being taxed. Again, in the next year, they will say, आप receive तो करने वाले थे ना, tax कर दो. So it cannot be done. Once an income is taxed, it cannot be taxed twice. Remember this point. I'm again saying this word again. This point will be very helpful in residential status, because there will repeatedly see a question: income received transferred to India. Okay, taxed income transferred to India. Then this point will come: double taxation. Same income cannot be taxed twice. Now see, this will be the last topic for today, and then we'll rest the case for today. Income by mutual activity not taxable. No, what actually is a mutual activity? Any examples of mutual activity? Yes, boys and girls.
Sir, any event done for a common purpose.
Any event done for a common purpose, correct. Great, layman language definition, correct. Mutual activity means, see, activity, okay, definitely it has to be activity, or specifically I can say that where persons have came together, they have invested not for the purpose of business, but for purpose of providing services or some social causes, correct? Like in today's all today's modern societies and all, we see na, that this society, they're doing this, okay, they're clearing the they're cleaning the parks and all, they're maintaining the outside of the societies. For that they charge a little bit of also, correct? So it might be possible that they may earn something from there, but that is not taxable because that is a mutual activity. Okay, first they invest, and after that it's not always possible that they will earn, but it might happen that they earn sometime, correct? So that is not taxable because it is not done with the purpose of earning. It is not a business. It has been done for the social cause. Create, clear, not create. Exceptions to it are as wherever there will be something in law, except my friends that there will be exceptions to. Flat associations, correct. Lakshman, I was talking about that one. Exceptions are income derived by a trade, professional, or similar association from rendering specific service to its member. Now, suppose for an example, I formed a society. Okay, I formed an association in my society. Now, what I said that, suppose there were a group of lawyers, correct? There are a group of advocates, not lawyers, advocates. There are a group of CAs, CMAs. Okay, great association. I have all the great people. So what actually is happening now? They're taking services between them. Advocates are getting their accounting and taxes done by the CAs, and CAs are getting all their legal compliances filled up by the advocates. This can happen, correct? But is this by the virtual mutual activity? Is that for what mutual activity it was formed? No. So any income which is derived by trade, professional, or similar associations from rendering specific service to its members, correct? CAs are not giving their services to everyone. They're only giving it to the advocate. So if they have derived some income in that kind of form, that is taxable. Okay. Next one, profit and gains of insurance business carried on by mutual insurance company or cooperative society. Okay, insurance business, whatever they earn, we say that insurance is not a business and all, but we know that how big insurance market is today. Correct. So that is taxable. Profit and gains of any business of banking carried on by cooperative society with members. Correct. Some banking activities has been carried on. Correct. Some transactions and all, and in that they have earned. Correct. So here itself, the motive is financial. Correct. Monetary motive is there. So in that case, if they earn any profit from there, that would be taxed. Clear, ladies and gentlemen. So what I mean to say, mutual activity, income from mutual activity is never ever taxed, because the motive behind that is motive behind them is not to earn profit, but to serve, to provide services to the people, members. Okay. In that case, if they earn something, that is exempt. But if they earn it by virtue of its trade, profession, or similar association, but which is rendered to specific members, okay, then that is taxable. Okay. Insurance companies which has been earned a profit. Okay, means mutual insurance companies who have run the insurance company's business and they have earned some profit, that is taxable. Okay, or any banking services carried out by the cooperative society with its member, and from there they have earned any profit, that is taxable. Yes, boys and girls, Mr. and all, Mr. and Miss, clear till here? Then I'll rest the case for today, and again tomorrow morning I'll start from here. And tomorrow morning, while sitting, it's a request, sit with your copy and calculators, correct? Because now we'll move on to the world of taxation. Correct. So any doubts are always welcome. So for the recorded ones, see the recordings. Okay. And in case of doubt, reach out to me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining. Have a nice day.